If you're over 60, there's a quiet concern many seniors share, even if they don't talk about it openly. It's not just about memory, it's about staying mentally clear. Staying confident in conversations, remembering names, following a story, feeling present, and most importantly, staying independent. Neurologists hear this concern every day from older adults who are otherwise healthy, active, and doing their best to age well. What many seniors don't realize is that brain aging doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't begin with dementia or obvious memory loss. It begins subtly, slower processing, reduced focus, difficulty multitasking, and moments of mental fatigue. But neurologists also know something very hopeful. The brain remains adaptable and responsive well into old age if it is supported in the right ways. After 60, protecting your brain is not about extreme mental training or expensive supplements. According to neurologists, it's about daily habits that keep brain cells nourished, connected, and supplied with oxygen and nutrients. These habits influence how well neurons communicate, how resilient the brain remains, and how long mental clarity is preserved. The first habit neurologists emphasize is one that many seniors underestimate, even though it has a direct effect on brain health every single day. Brain habit number 1. Gentle morning movement to increase brain blood flow. The brain depends heavily on blood flow. Oxygen, glucose, and nutrients reach brain cells only through circulation. During sleep, circulation slows. When seniors wake up and remain still for long periods, the brain continues operating in a low-energy state. Over time, this can contribute to mental sluggishness and reduced alertness. Neurologists strongly recommend gentle movement soon after waking, not exercise, not workouts, but simple, intentional motion. Standing up slowly, marching in place, rolling the shoulders, moving the arms, or walking calmly for a few minutes is enough. These movements signal the cardiovascular system to increase blood flow to the brain. Seniors who adopt this habit often report clearer thinking, better mood, and improved focus during the morning hours. The effect is not dramatic or stimulating, it's stabilizing. The brain simply functions better when it receives adequate circulation early in the day. Neurologists often explain that mental clarity is not just about intelligence or memory strength. It's about brain environment. When circulation improves, neurons communicate more efficiently, reaction time improves, balance improves, mood stabilizes. These changes support both cognitive and physical independence. Brain health and body movement are deeply connected. When the brain receives consistent blood flow, it is better able to control posture, coordination, and walking. This is one reason neurologists encourage movement as a foundational brain habit, especially after 60. The second habit neurologists consistently stress is one that is frequently overlooked, yet it affects nearly every cognitive function. Brain habit number 2, proper hydration early in the day. The human brain is composed of roughly 3/4 water. Even mild dehydration can reduce concentration, slow mental processing, and increase feelings of confusion or fatigue. After several hours of sleep, most seniors wake up already dehydrated, often without realizing it. Neurologists regularly see older adults who experience brain fog, dizziness, or difficulty concentrating, only to discover that hydration is inadequate. When fluid levels are low, blood becomes slightly thicker, circulation slows, and the brain receives fewer resources. Neural signaling becomes less efficient. Drinking water early in the day helps restore balance. It supports blood flow, improves oxygen delivery, and allows brain cells to function more efficiently. For many seniors, this results in improved alertness and steadier thinking within a short time. This does not require large amounts. 1 or 2 glasses of water in the morning is often sufficient. What matters is consistency. Seniors who hydrate regularly tend to experience fewer episodes of mental fatigue and greater overall cognitive stability. Neurologists emphasize that hydration is not a minor detail. It is a foundational requirement for brain health. Without adequate fluid, even the healthiest brain struggles to perform at its best. Together, these first 2 habits, gentle movement and early hydration, create the conditions the brain needs to function well. They support circulation, oxygen delivery, and neural communication. They don't stimulate the brain artificially. They support it naturally. When seniors incorporate these habits into daily life, they often notice subtle but meaningful changes: clearer mornings, steadier focus, improved balance, and greater confidence in daily tasks. These are not signs of reversing age, they are signs of maintaining brain function. Protecting the brain after 60 is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently. Neurologists agree that these foundational habits create a stable base upon which other protective actions can build. One of the most overlooked facts about brain aging is that the brain does not decline simply because of time. Neurologists consistently observe that decline accelerates when the brain is placed under constant stress and denied proper recovery. This is why the third habit focuses on calming the nervous system, not as a luxury, but as a necessity for brain preservation after 60. Brain habit number 3. Daily nervous system regulation. The human brain evolved to handle short bursts of stress, not long periods of constant tension. After 60, the brain becomes more sensitive to stress hormones such as cortisol. When these hormones remain elevated, they interfere with memory formation, damage neurons, and reduce the brain's ability to adapt and repair itself. Neurologists see this pattern frequently. Seniors who experience ongoing worry, rushing, or mental pressure often report increasing forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, and emotional volatility. These symptoms are not signs of intelligence loss, they are signs of a nervous system that never fully calms down. Daily nervous system regulation allows the brain to exit a state of alertness and enter a state of repair. This does not require formal meditation or complex routines. Simple actions are enough when done consistently. Slow breathing, sitting quietly without stimulation, gentle stretching, or spending time in a calm environment all signal safety to the brain. When the brain receives this signal, blood flow shifts toward regions responsible for reasoning, memory, and emotional balance. Neural communication improves. Seniors often describe feeling more mentally organized, less scattered, and more present. Neurologists emphasize that memory does not improve in a stressed brain. Information may enter the brain, but it is not stored properly. Calming the nervous system improves the brain's ability to process, organize, and retain information. This is why seniors who practice daily calming often report fewer moments of confusion and better recall over time. Importantly, nervous system regulation also improves sleep quality, which further protects the brain. These systems are interconnected. A calm day leads to deeper sleep. Deeper sleep leads to better brain repair. The fourth habit neurologists consistently recommend builds directly on this principle of recovery and repair. Brain habit number 4. Protecting sleep rhythm and sleep depth. Sleep is the brain's primary maintenance period. During deep sleep, harmful waste products are flushed from brain tissue. Damaged cells are repaired, and memory pathways are strengthened. Neurologists emphasize that chronic poor sleep is one of the strongest predictors of cognitive decline in older adults. Many seniors believe fragmented sleep is unavoidable with age. Neurologists strongly disagree. While sleep patterns change, quality sleep remains possible and essential well into later life. One of the most important factors is sleep rhythm consistency. The brain relies on predictable timing to regulate hormones and repair cycles. Going to bed and waking up at similar times each day helps synchronize these processes. Seniors who maintain consistent sleep schedules often experience deeper sleep even if total hours remain the same. Neurologists also stress the importance of reducing stimulation before bed. Bright lights, screens, loud sounds, and emotionally charged content activate the brain when it should be winding down. This activation delays deep sleep and reduces the brain's ability to clear waste products efficiently. Creating a calm evening environment supports the brain's transition into restorative sleep. Dim lighting, quiet activities, and predictable routines signal the brain that it is safe to rest. Over time, this improves sleep depth and continuity. Sleep quality directly affects memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Seniors who sleep well often notice improved concentration, faster recall, and greater emotional stability. These benefits accumulate over time, helping preserve cognitive function. Neurologists also note that sleep influences physical coordination. A rested brain communicates more effectively with muscles, improving balance and reaction time. This reduces fall risk and supports independence, a critical aspect of healthy aging. When seniors protect both nervous system regulation and sleep rhythm, they create an environment in which the brain can maintain function rather than struggle to survive. These habits reduce daily wear on brain tissue and allow natural repair mechanisms to operate as intended. Together, calming the nervous system and protecting sleep form the foundation of long-term brain health after 60. They do not require effort or intensity. They require awareness, patience, and consistency, qualities that the aging brain responds to best. The fifth habit neurologists consistently emphasize is often misunderstood because it doesn't sound medical, technical, or scientific at first. Yet in real clinical settings, it is one of the strongest predictors of how well the brain maintains function over time. This habit focuses on keeping the brain actively connected to the world through the senses and through meaningful human interaction. Brain habit number 5. Daily sensory and social engagement. The brain is not designed to function in isolation. It is an organ that depends on constant input. Sight, sound, touch, movement, and communication all stimulate different brain regions. When these signals decrease, the brain adapts by reducing activity in those areas. Over time, this leads to weakening neural networks and reduced cognitive resilience. Neurologists frequently observe this pattern in older adults who spend long hours alone, remain indoors most of the day, or rely heavily on passive activities such as watching television. Even when these individuals are intelligent, educated, and mentally capable, their brains receive fewer opportunities to respond, adapt, and strengthen connections. This does not cause immediate decline, but it slowly reduces the brain's ability to cope with stress and change. Sensory engagement does not require effort or intensity. Simple daily experiences are enough to activate the brain in meaningful ways. Stepping outside and noticing light, temperature, and sound. Feeling the texture of objects. Smelling food while cooking. Listening attentively to music. These experiences activate multiple brain regions simultaneously and help maintain neural activity across different systems. Touch is particularly important. Physical contact with objects, surfaces, and the environment helps the brain maintain accurate body awareness. This awareness supports coordination and balance. Neurologists often note that seniors who remain physically aware of their surroundings move with greater confidence and fewer missteps. Social engagement is one of the most powerful forms of brain stimulation available. Conversation requires the brain to listen, interpret language, retrieve memory, regulate emotion, and respond appropriately. These processes activate memory centers, emotional regulation systems, and executive function all at once. Neurologists often ascribe conversation as a full brain activity because it engages so many areas simultaneously. Importantly, engagement must be active, not passive. Watching television or listening without interaction does not challenge the brain to respond. Speaking, listening, reacting, and adjusting do. Seniors who regularly engage in conversation tend to maintain sharper verbal skills, better memory recall, and stronger emotional balance. Neurologists also emphasize the emotional component of social engagement. Loneliness increases stress hormones, such as cortisol, which damage brain cells over time. Meaningful interaction lowers these hormones and supports emotional stability. Seniors who feel connected tend to show slower cognitive decline and better overall mental health. Another critical element of this habit is novelty. The brain remains adaptable when it encounters new experiences. This does not mean learning complex skills or returning to formal education. Small changes are enough. Taking a different route on a walk, rearranging living spaces, trying a new recipe, visiting a new place. These experiences encourage the brain to form new connections, a process known as neuroplasticity. Neurologists consistently observe that neuroplasticity does not disappear with age. Older brains are still capable of forming new pathways when stimulated appropriately. Seniors who remain curious and open to small changes tend to maintain cognitive flexibility longer. Their thinking remains adaptable. They recover more easily from mental fatigue and emotional stress. Sensory and social engagement also support physical safety. Vision, hearing, and touch help the brain understand body position and movement in space. When these senses remain active, coordination improves. Reaction time remains faster. Balance becomes more reliable. This reduces the risk of falls and accidents, which are often linked to cognitive decline rather than muscle weakness alone. Neurologists emphasize that brain health is not separate from physical independence. When the brain processes sensory information efficiently, it controls movement more accurately. Seniors who remain engaged with their environment often move with greater awareness, confidence, and stability. This fifth habit completes the framework neurologists use to protect the aging brain. Movement improves blood flow. Hydration supports cellular function. Nervous system regulation reduces damage. Sleep allows repair. Engagement keeps neural networks active and responsive. These habits work together. None of them function in isolation. When seniors incorporate all five into daily life, the brain is placed in a supportive environment rather than a stressful one. Decline is not eliminated, but it is slowed. Cognitive function is preserved longer. Neurologists are clear on one point. Brain aging is not determined by a single factor or a single year. It is shaped by daily patterns. Small, consistent choices influence how well the brain maintains clarity, memory, emotional balance, and independence after 60. Protecting the brain is not about fear or perfection. It is about understanding what the brain needs to stay healthy: connection, stimulation, recovery, and support, and providing those needs every day. When neurologists talk about protecting the brain after 60, they are not describing a miracle, a shortcut, or a way to avoid aging entirely. They are describing something far more realistic and far more powerful, creating the conditions that allow the brain to continue functioning well for as long as possible. The 5 habits you've just learned are not dramatic. They are not extreme. But together, they shape how the brain experiences aging. One of the most important points neurologists emphasize is that the brain is always responding to its environment. It responds to how well it is supplied with blood. It responds to hydration. It responds to stress levels. It responds to sleep. And it responds to engagement. When these conditions are supportive, the brain preserves function. When they are neglected, decline accelerates. Many seniors believe that memory loss and cognitive slowing are unavoidable after a certain age. Neurologists disagree. While some changes are natural, the speed and severity of brain aging vary greatly from person to person. And that variation is strongly influenced by daily habits. When seniors begin gentle movement each morning, they improve blood flow to the brain. This supports attention, balance, and reaction time. When they hydrate early in the day, they allow brain cells to communicate efficiently. When they calm the nervous system regularly, they reduce damage caused by chronic stress hormones. When they protect sleep rhythm and depth, they allow the brain to repair itself. And when they stay sensorially and socially engaged, they keep neural networks active and responsive. Neurologists often see the difference between seniors who follow these principles and those who do not. The difference is not perfection. It is resilience. Seniors who support their brain consistently tend to recover faster from mental fatigue. They adapt better to change. They remain emotionally steadier. They retain confidence in conversations and daily decisions. Another important concept neurologists share is that brain health is cumulative. No single day determines the outcome. It is the repetition of small supportive actions over weeks, months, and years that shapes long-term results. This is why neurologists focus on habits rather than treatments. Habits compound. It is also important to understand that protecting the brain does not require doing everything at once. In fact, trying to change too much too quickly often leads to frustration. Neurologists recommend starting with awareness, noticing when movement is missing, noticing hydration patterns, noticing stress levels, noticing sleep consistency, noticing how connected or isolated daily life feels. As awareness improves, habits follow naturally. A short walk becomes routine. A glass of water becomes automatic. Evenings become calmer. Sleep becomes more predictable. Interaction becomes intentional rather than accidental. These changes do not feel like effort. They feel like alignment. Neurologists also emphasize that emotional health and brain health are inseparable. Anxiety, fear, and constant worry place heavy strain on brain circuits. Seniors who feel informed and empowered tend to experience less fear about aging. This emotional stability itself protects the brain. There is also an important connection between brain health and independence. The brain controls balance, coordination, judgment, and reaction time. When these functions remain strong, seniors are better able to live independently, avoid falls, manage daily tasks, and maintain confidence. This is why neurologists consider brain protection one of the most important aspects of healthy aging. Another point neurologists make clear is that it is never too late to benefit from these habits. The brain retains plasticity throughout life. While earlier adoption offers greater protection, meaningful improvements can occur even when changes are made later. Seniors in their 70s, 80s, and beyond often experience improved clarity and stability when they begin supporting their brain intentionally. Protecting the brain is not about chasing youth. It is about preserving capability, the ability to think clearly, the ability to communicate, the ability to stay oriented and aware, the ability to enjoy daily life without constant mental fatigue. Neurologists consistently remind seniors that the brain does not need perfection. It needs support, gentle movement, adequate hydration, calm, restorative sleep, engagement with the world. These are not medical interventions. They are human necessities. When these needs are met, the brain responds with strength and adaptability. When they are ignored, decline accelerates unnecessarily. This is why neurologists focus so heavily on daily habits rather than rare treatments. Aging will continue. Time will pass. But how the brain experiences that time is not fixed. It is shaped, day by day, by the conditions we provide. Supporting the brain after 60 is one of the most meaningful investments a person can make. Not only for memory, but for balance, confidence, emotional well-being, and independence. And the habits that support it are already within reach.